Nadine Dorries claims that misogyny has coloured the reporting of her defection to Reform UK. Specifically, she has accused Sky News of publishing misogynistic rubbish and even calling for the intern who prepared the report to be sacked. The test is whether the coverage focused on her gender or stereotyped her in a way not typically applied to male defectors like Jake Berry or David Jones. The Sky's piece is not a straightforward news report. It did about 3 reports that I've seen. I've looked at all of them. It blends political analysis with tabloid-style colour, and the structure is narrative, even mocking, and several stylistic choices stand out. The use of the nickname Mad Nad, originating with political opponents in Parliament, but also with Boris Johnson. A heavy focus on her I'm a Celebrity appearance, complete with gleeful references to pigs' testicles, fish eyes, worms, and crocodile anus, and long sections about her weight loss drugs, which she's talked about, which she's written about, her novels, and her missed peerage. References to her sobbing when Boris Johnson withdrew from the leadership race in 2016. Mockery of her book, The Political Assassination of Boris Johnson, the plot with Bond villain comparisons. This is closer, I would say, to satire than to impartial political reporting. So is this misogyny? The gendered nickname Mad Nad has always carried a sexist undertone, reducing a female MP to a caricature of hysteria, and comparable nicknames are rarely applied to male colleagues with the same bite. So there's some room there, but the point is, I think Boris used to call her Nads, and there was certainly the idea of Mad Nad running around parliamentary circles, not specific to her opponents. Her colleagues used to use this term as well. So the focus on her appearance and lifestyle, discussion of weight loss, well, the same discussion is had about Robert Jenrick. Reality TV stunts, the same discussion is had about Farage and others who've been involved in reality TV, and tearful displays of loyalty all play into stereotypes of emotional or frivolous women. Male defectors are usually judged on political record, not waistline or diet. The peerage disappointment, the implication that she sought a peerage and failed, makes her appear petty and vain. Again, a caricature often applied more harshly to women. So, while none of this is explicit misogyny, there is no slur against women as such in any of the text. It relies on gendered tropes, emotional, attention-seeking, unserious, and defined by appearance. Why she may be overreacting is because much of the mockery here is not uniquely applied to women. Nigel Farage's own I'm a Celebrity appearance is mentioned, and his love of theatrics is often ridiculed. Doris herself has cultivated a public persona through celebrity shows, Daily Mail columns, pointed attacks on leaders, and to some extent she's invited coverage beyond the strictly political. She has talked about her use of these diet injections. The article is not a report in the hard news sense, but an analysis opinion hybrid, and the satirical tone is applied to others too, Johnson, Sunak, and Cameron. And her complaint, the political point, is that her complaint may be strategic. By crying misogyny, she reframes hostile coverage as prejudice rather than political mockery. That resonates with Reform UK's anti-establishment narrative. The media elite persecutes outsiders, but I'm afraid it doesn't wash with me at all. The Sky article is mocking, it's loaded with derision, and at times it's tabloid in tone. Absolutely. But that is not necessarily misogynistic. Certain phrases and emphases, Mad Nad, tears, weight loss drugs, lean on gendered stereotypes and could be fairly attacked as sexist by implication, but certainly not by explicit derision. Yet the majority of the article is ridicule of her record and her political style, which is standard treatment for a colourful, outspoken politician. And calling for an intern to be sacked as a result is disproportionate. This is not a misogynistic attack in the structural sense, but an unflattering character sketch that happens to include material more often weaponized against women than against men. But I think she's calling foul without a reasonable, without justice. It's an unjust criticism of somebody who has written this, and I don't suppose this person is an intern. She's belittling that person, and also gendering that person. I think she's assuming that person is also male. So I think you give as good as you get, and Nadine Dorries is a colourful, interesting character, and I think she is she has set herself out to be mocked, but I've always done my best to weigh up the good and the bad. Her writing is dreadful, but it's absolutely gripping. In the same way as James Bond, Ian Fleming is a dreadful writer, but he pioneered an entirely new level of page turner, and Nadine Dorries has managed the same sort of thing. And I must say, life is far more interesting with her in the news.